something that God's been working through me, having been in full-time ministry for almost 15 years and then going through utter chaos and hell and then kind of starting over. And he's just been really challenging me that, as I used to, teach and preach and lead, because I was a part of a church and that was that season. But he's like, that calling hasn't changed. It just may look different.
Yeah.
And so he's like, listen, and so I've had this thought in my mind. You don't need a microphone. You don't need a stage. You've got a phone. You've got a camera.
Sure.
Do what I've called you to do.
Yeah.
And so it's, and I think that's why also you got a bunch of kooks out there.
There's a lot of clowns in the kingdom, court gestures, if you will. That's just walking around, sprinkling the Jesus glitter all over the place, and it's for naught. We need solid believers who actually love God and love God's people as they are. And so, kind of my journey into ministry is a little bit different. Of course, I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I was called out of a club. I was in a club at that particular moment, and God spoke to me and said, "Hey, this is the direction I need you to take."
Yeah.
And that direction started in youth ministry. Quite naturally, I was great at youth ministry, real good. I'm great at the people connector, being a people connector. And then from youth ministry and then working my way out of youth ministry into helping people start churches to campus pastor, just doing all of that.
Yeah.
And what I found that people value, they value authenticity.
Yeah.
Not the kooky. Just be honest with me. So if I sin, don't go crazy, because I sin all the time, right? If I do something, out of the norm, you're there to support me and kind of walk me through it. That's what I think people enjoy and feel.
Which is funny because that word authenticity, I think, is something that's been on my mind. But I think even more now when we talk about even culture of the world, because we are so digital now with AI, everything can be, even me as someone who, like you, who we live in this world, there's some videos I'm like, I'm gonna have to ask if this is real. But I think that's beautiful, especially for the church, because that's what people want. They don't necessarily always want the most high polished, perfect video content.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, also why you're seeing, we're going to see an increase in live events, live communities, live experiences. People are all right, let's put down my phone and let's try to experience. I mean, what are you seeing?
Yeah, the number one case or conversation that we really need to be having or should be thinking about is a conversation of how we handle the epidemic of loneliness.
Yeah.
And digital creates closeness, but does not cure loneliness. And that's what people don't seem to kind of capture, that yes, I can create this element of our digital space where it just brings you in close, but there needs something that's going to be tangible, that's going to stick, and that should be interwoven with the gospel, in my opinion. And so I'm thinking of how can we help with this loneliness thing? How can we bring people closer? How can we introduce people to God? And then how can we send them out to be better leaders? Should be always trickling in our brains to become better disciples. That's just how I look at it, bro.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's also leading people to that next step.
Yeah.
Of as leaders, as the church, as organizations, are we creating not just the online communities, but what are we creating for our people that we can invite them to?
Yeah.
What events, what small events, because I think we're going to start going that way.
We're here.
Yeah. And I think it's people are going more lonely and they're putting on headsets and they're never leaving their house, or they're going, I need something else. I've got to change. And honestly think that's why, in my from what I'm seeing and I'm experiencing, especially with a lot of the churches I'm work with, is growth.
Absolutely.
Like pretty crazy growth.
Yes.
Even if stats, whatever they may say on the bad side, I'm like, you're not going to stop the church. And
it's going to grow. It's going to do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. And people are, people are looking. I want to talk about this because you and I know, being active on social media, especially on certain platforms.
Yeah.
Let's say TikTok.
Yep.
If you get on TikTok at all, you will understand, one, that there are some very interesting characters, especially when it comes to quote unquote Christians, preachers, pastors. And so I think one of the frustrations I have, even with a lot of the people I work with, my friends who are pastors or preachers, why, I guess my question is, why should pastors, preachers be posting more content? And that's a very loaded question. I know there's multiple angles.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, one, there's opportunity.
Yeah.
I got to watch some of these. I got to come across videos that I'm like,
yeah,
who? Oh my gosh. And then I'm like, then I see my friends and pastors who are so great.
Yep.
And they haven't posted in 6 months.
Yes. Yeah. I think if pastors understood by the numbers where we need to be, they would approach this with a very nuanced, thoughtful process. 46% of Gen Z is looking for somebody to educate them in a digital space, right? 28% of pastors don't even feel like they are prepared to share the information, right? And so we have numbers like that that's swirling around us, right? When it comes to whether it be artificial intelligence or TikTok. So if we're staying in the lane of TikTok, a pastor needs to look at TikTok as the new mission ground. In particular, when you're trying to reach younger audiences or audiences that have not brought themselves to church or they are de-churched.
Yeah.
And so to be able to bring them a conversation that is fitted, formed for them, because pastors, let me look right into the camera, you need to be doing content fitted and formed for each platform. TikTok is a different platform. Your team needs to understand how to do reels and how to use these conversations on TikTok. Your sermon stuff may not work on TikTok. That I've seen it work, I've seen it not work.
Yeah.
But if they see that you're approaching them with some level of authenticity, if they see that you care about them, that you're willing to educate them and sit with them and give them information without them having to pay through a MLM scheme, then surely you're going to see your TikTok platform rise. I've started with certain pastors and prominent spaces that had zero following.
Yeah.
And in the matter of 6 months, because we stayed consistent at TikTok, now they have like 10,000 followers.
Yeah.
But they had to engage it at a very different level than they do in local church. So that brings us to a bigger question. How are we using these apparatuses to win some for Christ? Because I feel like TikTok is prime mission field as this, it is a great SEO generator, right?
Yeah.
That kind of leads people directly into our space. And can your space handle the drought when you lower the net? Because some pastor spaces cannot handle it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think I want to go a little bit deeper
Go ahead.
because we can talk about the strategies and those are out there and how to do it, what to do. If I'm honest, when I got into starting my own business, and I knew I had to start creating content. I had to, I wanted to raise awareness, who I am, what I do, and if I'm honest, there was a lot of insecurity.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that's the one thing. Not that a lot of people do talk about it, but I think that's the thing that you have to deal with first is why aren't you posting it? What's stopping you? Because you can make the excuse of, time. Well, if it's time, then that just means you don't value or you prioritize it or you don't understand the value of it. But when I talk to a lot of people, both pastors, content creators, when they first start, it's that what do people think? You have biases. Well, I don't want people to think that I'm whatever. I'm trying to be an influencer and that's real. Like
Sure.
I the first like month, it was like, I don't even know how to describe it. I describe it as if, in high school, when you walk into the lunchroom the first time and you're like, who am I going to sit with?
Yeah.
And you're like looking around, you're like, okay. And it's like, it's almost like, you're walking around with your fly undone. And there's that, I don't know. And I think for everybody, there's something different. I think for some guys, there's a pastor or somebody they've seen that they don't really like. And they're like, I don't want to do it because I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, and that's real good, it comes down to overcoming your imposter syndrome,
which is real,
which is a very real thing that a lot of leaders struggle with. There are people assigned to listen to you. So your disobedience here means that they are being hindered there from hearing from God because you're not operating in the space you need to be operating in. So that's one thing. And then it is, we're looking for it to look a certain way. Pastor, let me tell you something. Just take out your phone and hit record.
Yep.
And post it.
Yep.
I worked on a video yesterday. And, because that's my jam and I like to do it. And instead of it being like an hour, it took me 3 hours because I was just trying to add more to it and this, that, and the other. Man, just put the stuff out so people can enjoy it. How else would you know what works for the algorithm if you're not posting to it? There are some pastors that are anti-social media. I just want to come and preach the gospel. God did not call me to get on social media and pontificate and do all of this stuff. On the contrary, this is the digital mission field. So let me provide this. There's 3 ways of socialization, right? There's the first way of socialization that you're going to learn at home. You're going to learn at church. You're going to learn in those that's second space. Second space is the church and things of that nature. But the third space that we don't cover and we don't have a lot of information about is the digital space. This is the third space that people are looking for education. And the fact that we won't engage it is problematic because the next wave or next crop of people that you need to be exposed to that need to hear the gospel, they're on the algorithm.
Yeah.
So how do we as Christians then take the algorithm back to do the work of the ministry?
Yeah. And when you were talking, one of the words for me for this year is stewardship. And I wonder, are we missing an opportunity and are we being bad stewards of a platform of tools that have been given to us? And yes, social media, there are bad parts of it, but you could say that about everything, TV and books and so many things. And yet when you look at least from my perspective, but the amount of, and I'm calling some of my friends out, the amount of awesome communicators, pastors, leaders that have great perspective. They're theologically gifted and trained, and it's just crickets. And they may, clip up their sermons on Sundays, which great, that's a starting point.
It is.
But when you really start to do it, like, so for this year, I've been on social media, since Facebook came out, and I got it when I was in junior college in 2006. I remember
20 years ago.
Yeah. It's crazy. But this year was the first year I'm committing. Like I'm going all in.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's a lot of work. But when you start getting consistent and you start actually seeing things start popping off.
Yes.
And not just the numbers and the dopamine hit, which is fun.
Yeah.
When you get some good videos, you're like, oh yeah. Like that. But when you start the conversations and people, hey, thank you so much. Even for me, I'm my audience is pastors and marketing, communication, stuff like that. Even when I get that random DM, I just got one the other day from, oh my gosh, where was he from? From another country. He was another. I guess it is, but he was a Canadian pastor.
Sure.
Never met him, never heard of him.
Yeah.
Multiple locations, and he was like, "Hey, I just want to say thank you so much for your content. Yeah. My team, social media marketing team, has been following you. It's been really helpful." No clue who this person is.
Yeah, no. And I think that's Man, I have a billion stories about people walking and just saying, "Hey, man, your content has helped change the way I look at media," or "Your content helped impact the way I look at relationships and church." That's why I do it. Like I got into it. I remember podcasting on an RSS feed. Some of y'all are too young to understand what that means. That means I was basically putting my podcast in a system and allowing the RSS feed to do all of the work for me, unlike what we have now. I've been podcasting that long.
Jeez,
and now I think
crazy.
that's a critical thing that you mentioned when you talk about being consistent. Pastor, even if it's once a week, be consistent with your level of consistency. I cannot stress that enough. So whatever your thing is, you don't need to walk down the hall and somebody have a phone and watching you do that. That's corny to me. That's corny to me. But it shows something different that people have not seen from you. And if people see you're trying and people see you're quirky, they will appreciate that more than you ever know.
For sure. Well, and Gary Vee says it, you are the content.
Absolutely.
So I tell guys, do you have leadership meetings? Record leadership meetings.
Absolutely.
Anytime you talk, anytime you have anytime, just take it to whatever level you feel comfortable. I promise you, if you'll just start recording yourself, and I'm telling you, it's weird because I'm forcing myself to, record in public, which, walking through the airport, I feel like a dork when I'm, in the airport and I'm, I got my phone up or my camera and I'm saying something. It's like you're in the shower and there's a glass building and everybody can see you. It is weird, but the more you start doing it and it becomes a little bit more natural. It's just, it's more of a, it's got to become a habit.
And even like, speaking of spaces, like I was in the airport on the little, conveyor belt with my camera in front of me on the stand, and I was recording content. I had a certain like period of time to record it, and then having to do it over again. This is at 5 o'clock in the morning that I'm doing this, right? And why am I doing it? I'm doing it to prove to myself that I can be consistent. I'm doing it for that person that doesn't have the money, doesn't know how, and they're just looking for a way to start. I'm doing it to prove to myself that I can live out this life, not just talk about it or try to sell it to somebody. No, I'm equally a content creator just like everybody else.
Well, and I'll say this is something that I got convicted of is in that scenario, when we're talking about like resistance or what keeps people from creating content or sharing content, whatever it is I realized that I cared more about myself and what people thought about me more than I cared about who can this help?
Who can it help, man?
And so I would get caught up with, well, even when I am creating content and have an idea and go, man, this isn't gonna get a lot of likes.
Yeah.
But I had to settle with, if this helps one person, that's all that it matters.
Yeah. For sure. There was a guy that I saw on Instagram reel, TikTok, I can't think of his name, but I remember vividly the situation. He was a sound guy.
Okay.
And he was recording himself doing the sound while in worship. And somehow or another, he got caught up in worship and missed a cue on the soundboard. And he recorded it and talked about his failure at that moment.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, this was a good opportunity to show you that sometimes when we don't press the buttons, it's because we're engaged in the moment. And some of us don't want to be engaged in that moment. We want to be recluses. We think that it's just this huge problem. It is not, pastors. People need your voice on platforms like TikTok and YouTube. And let me explain to you why. We have 10,000 million clowns that's trying to control the narrative of what we hear. And if we don't have anything good to digest, we keep infusing this trash into our systems. So, Pastor, I want to challenge you that you have a mandate to get on social, to make it real, to connect with people, to be as consistent as you need to be. Why? Because lives are at the balance. And if you do not become responsible, and the quote unquote word of the century is obedient to that, people will lose out of hearing your voice.
Yeah, because every time I get on TikTok, which is every day, and I see some of the stuff it honestly frustrates me because I do know so many amazing preachers and pastors.
Of course, man.
And again, this is not a slight. This is an encouragement and a challenge because I got to watch just some craziness, and yet I'm like, where is everybody else at? Why are we not on these spaces? Because it really is. You until you start doing it. I mean, it's like anything. Until you start, you're never going to catch a fish if you don't go fishing. Until you start posting, creating content, you're not going to see what you can really do because it's crazy. Yeah. It's hard to explain and get guys to understand. Get past your insecurities. Get past the emotion or whatever the annoyance of certain pastors or influencers, and be what you wish someone else would be, or just be you.
Yeah, I love what you said about I think it was fishing, which you just mentioned. And when Jesus told his disciples to lay down their nets while they were fishing, that was a novice concept of fishermen. It's very novice. Like, no, my job is to throw,
cast it,
throw, push it out there, go far. That's my job. No, put it down. Put down your insecurity. Put down that self-esteem thing, and grab a hold of something that God is telling you to grab a hold to win some Christ. Paul mentions it in his scripture where he says, I become all things to win some. So the question for pastors today is, why aren't you becoming?
Yeah.
What's the challenge of trying something different and getting a different result, right? Like we preach the gospel in various ways, various times, in various spaces, and we have zero problem with that. Yeah. We only have the problem when it requires for us to do more than what we're called to do.
Yeah.
Yes, this is work. Yes, it is hard. Yes, you're unsure. That's the beauty of it, because somebody is watching your story and they're watching you build from that Nokia 5120 camera up into the iPhone 17, and they're going to say, "Hey, man, I've been enjoying this journey since you took off."
Yeah. And I would say even let's move past content. Write a book, because now more than any time in the history of the world, it's easier to write a book, and it costs less to write a book. Or a study guide, or that content will live on forever, and it can be a tool for your church, for people, whoever. And one thing that I've been, because I'm trying to break this down, because I think for, when you get into our world and, okay, who's your target market?
Sure.
What's your offer? And you try to break it down. I think that doesn't always get translated to a church or a pastor. And so I've been telling guys, even for some of the services we offer, for instance, like running meta ads, I'm like, I'll ask them, hey, what, if there's one topic, one issue, one problem, or your testimony, what is that thing? Like, what is what's God done through you? Is it, godly marriage, parenting, anxiety, financial, debt? Pick one topic and just talk about that. And that's all you got to talk about. And then once you get the system down, then you go, oh, I can talk all the time. Boom, 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 boom. But if you'll even from a strategy standpoint,
okay,
right? One topic, most Christians are searching for a church. Okay, that's so stage one in marketing, or with the church. Okay, let's make sure that the Christians have a church, whatever.
Yeah.
Then it's like, how do we reach the lost? Well, you solve their problems.
Absolutely.
Help them first. So it's like, as a preacher, if you want to really help people, just give them the resources.
You know what, man? One of the most searched topics on Google, finding a church is critical, especially if you go to threads. There's like 1 million threads of people trying to find a church home.
It's crazy.
But the one thing that people are actually in search of is purpose.
Yep.
So if I'm a pastor and I'm going under your care and you're going to kind of step me through it, pastor, if people are trying to find purpose, how can you help them find purpose and connect with you. And now this becomes a leveraging tool or talking point that we can talk about in our church. Here's how we can talk about purpose. And so I'm going to preach about purpose.
Yeah.
And then when I preach about purpose, I'm going to create a system that can take my transcription on purpose and then create that digital handbook or that workbook or whatever the case may be. And now it becomes an essential tool. So if I'm on your end and I'm saying, hey, I want to help you with purpose, I want to be able to give you something to help you find a deeper meaning within purpose. Sign up today and I'm going to send you this ebook. And now it becomes not transactional. It becomes I'm building you relationally through the word called purpose. So if I'm a pastor and you're looking for topics to talk about, think about, I think it's called Ask Your Community or Ask Something or Get to Know.
Ask the public?
Ask the public.
Answer the public.
Answer the public.
Neil Patel. Neil Patel.
So going there to find out what people are talking about.
Everything.
And it's there, right? Doing Google researches. Now you can use applications like Perplexity. Perplexity can tell you exactly what's going on. These tools are available to us to help us create more engaging content and cut through some of this nonsense. I need Pastor, look at me in the camera. Look, I need for y'all to cut through this nonsense. It's getting a little tiresome to be on TikTok and I only see my boy out here and I don't see y'all. Get your lazy butt up and let's get to it. Come on, let's go. We got it.
Okay. I want your opinion on this.
All right, cool.
Make it real simple. Going live.
Yeah.
I don't hear a lot of people talk about it, especially in the church world, but you can set up your phone on a tripod, or on your book, whatever, and just go live, and you can just sit there, read, talk, and you do that every day for
30 days.
Even if you don't post other content, just going live. You know, this is so funny. This is random, but you know who I see almost live on TikTok every day?
Who's that?
Our boy Creflo Dollar.
Early in the morning,
bro.
Early in the morning.
He got this low angle. It's about like this,
and he cooking.
And he's and I don't know what but he's never looking at the camera. He's
looking straight ahead.
He's talking to somebody. I don't know if he's got like a Zoom going or something.
He probably does.
But I'm telling you, that guy. He is on, and what? Creflo's like
60 plus. Somebody showed him.
I mean, he's got to be older, like almost 70.
Oh yeah.
I see him almost every day, just going live. I don't see any of his other content though. Just going live.
Just going live. And people don't know with TikTok going live, that's the great aggregator in TikTok. That when you go live, it brings more audiences to you. So going live is a helpful thing in TikTok. So I want to pose this because you mentioned this before when it talks about 30 days. I did 2 series for 30 days. One was a series on relationships, right?
Yeah.
And I had some of the greatest people talking about relationships because I went to NRB. Shout out to NRB. I went out to NRB and was interviewing people out there at NRB. All right, cool. So I have that. And then I have one that's talking about how you can be a boss, a CEO, in under 60 seconds. And I did that for 30 days straight. That means I had to sit down and record for 30 days. Let me tell you what it really takes. This is honest. If I'm recording content for 30 days, pastor, leader, whoever you are, you need to spend about an hour to 2 hours of your time recording content. And when you record content, ask the people that's around you or yourself or previous sermons that you can use to create scripts. And those scripts are going to help you for the next 30 days to determine what you're going to talk about. And you'll line those scripts out. You can use AI here. Hey, help me line this out. I'm going to line that out for 30 days and I'm going to record. And then once I record for 2 hours, I have 15 days worth of content. And all I have to do is have an editor or cut it myself and then post it. Or if you didn't want to do that, you can just post it after you're done doing it, right? Which becomes a more way to engage it. And I've saw my numbers quadruple because I've done that.
Wow.
I'm one of the few people in this world right now that's gone viral on LinkedIn. And that's the hardest thing to do.
Dude, LinkedIn, wait, that's a whole nother podcast.
That's the hardest thing to do. 800,000 views on LinkedIn.
Dude, I've been posting on LinkedIn for, I don't know how long. If I get more than 50 impressions, it's a win.
And that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
He'll bring me back and I'll talk about the LinkedIn tricks And we'll talk about that. But here's another thing. We're talking about TikTok, right? But we should be having a conversation equally about church leaders going on LinkedIn to engage in conversations with LinkedIn. You talk about the type of person that you want in your church.
I know. I got about two pastors on there that.
Come on now.
Like, it's crazy. It is. And here's the deal. LinkedIn, everyone's friendly. Everyone's kind. They're welcoming. They're looking to connect.
Come on.
I've got a friend here in Fort Worth. He's at a church, and he's blown up. He's basically changed his life at some level and open up doors for speaking into the business world as a pastor, just on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Just on LinkedIn. Oh my gosh, my mind went blank on the live.
Yeah, I can talk more about that live, man. Like, I don't go.
Oh, no. I know what I was going to say.
Yeah.
This is one of my frustrations.
Yeah. Okay.
Within the church,
yep.
Especially if you're the lead pastor, you're preaching most of the Sundays. That means you're spending, let's say, 20 hours a week on writing messages, 2 to 3 times a month. If you've been doing that for years, the amount of content, the amount of sermon notes and research and iPhone notes that you have, that you could just pick one topic, find all your sermon notes, all your messages, and then just take the next month and talk about you could take a topic a month and take all the sermons for the past 4, 5, 10 years and just talk about that. And you wouldn't have, you don't even have to think about it. You just gotta, half of it you could just throw into AI.
You could.
And just,
you could
do threads or tweets and even screenshots or carousels.
If I was doing this, if I needed a starting point today and I wanted to use TikTok, and now we're talking about how we need to script it, I would, as you just mentioned, I would transcribe those sermons. Pastor, the most important thing that you have is your voice. Yeah. It is your intellectual property. It is what you use to communicate and bring people to Christ. And the fact that you will not honor your intellectual property in the proper way is concerning to me. So let me help you. Here it is. Number one, as a leader, I'm going to transcribe that message. You can take a YouTube clip, the entire clip, and transcribe the whole entire thing. There's various applications, whether it be Descript or whatever you want to use, it can transcribe it. Once I transcribe it, as you just mentioned, I'm going to find me an AI aggregator to kind of help me synthesize this information, right? And then I'm going to allow that to kind of be how I need to address and talk about certain things on my particular podcast. Yeah. And so I'm not concerned about what your set looks like. Only thing I'm concerned about visually is that your screen looks clear and that you sound crisp. Yeah. Those two things are the most concern. Everything else we can build off of and build from. So if you take those things, you could start tomorrow on TikTok, create you a TikTok account. And let me also say this. The church's TikTok account is not your TikTok account.
Yes.
You need to create your own. Yep. That you have your own conversation on.
Yep.
Some of y'all think that everything runs through the church. No, the church has its own identity. When you leave here, when you stop pastoring, you're going to need a lane and avenue to jump into. And if you start with this now, you will have a lane and avenue to jump right into, and you can leave that alone and let the young guys play there. So I want to offer that to leaders, pastors, business owners even.
Yeah.
Take that stuff, use it, and apply it. I promise you, in 30 days, I'm going to look up and you're going to be great, man.
Well, here's another thought that I feel like, again, going back to, I talked earlier about stewardship, is that if we believe that God has created us, not only has he created us, he's gifted us, he's called us, he's anointed us, he's given us different gifts and abilities, and we are called to steward those things. So stewardship is about what are we doing with what we have?
Yeah, man.
And so I just wonder, with a lot of, again, and I think this has to do with, as a Christian, even with your business, your organization, your nonprofit, your ministry it has nothing to do with what your paycheck comes from or what you do day in, day out. We all have a ministry, and there's such a great opportunity. So for me, I have to ask myself, and I ask people, when you're not utilizing these platforms and you're not using the gifting the calling, the anointing, or whatever it may be, to help, to serve, to preach, to teach, to lead, whatever you want to say, you're actually hurting other people, because God wants to use you and is wanting to use you. And who needs what you have? Your voice, your message, your testimony, the struggle that you went through, right? Like, I was reading this morning Corinthians talking about when we're going through chaos and troubles, God gives us comfort. So then we can go and comfort others.
That's right.
Then we can go and tell our story and prophesy and encourage and equip. And now you can do that from your phone at any time of the day, at any moment. You can go live, and and I mean, I'll tell you this, even for me, for the last, so basically since January 1st, I've been posting at least once a day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm climbing every day by 5,000 to 10,000, mainly on Instagram, on impressions.
Sure.
And it just
keeps going.
And I'm up to almost 150,000.
Yes.
And I've never had that not consistently in every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Man, you bring up an interesting point. Vanity metrics.
No.
Let me tell y'all something, pastors and leaders. And
as I mentioned how proud I am of myself.
And no, I think you should be proud.
Yeah.
You have a right to be proud, but that proudness is not defined by the metrics that you have achieved, right?
Yeah.
You're still proud because you're being consistent, and these are the byproducts of being consistent. My point is, don't get in the deep of the weeds of it. That is a nice thing to have. Yeah. You should want to, achieve that, but don't let this be, hey, if we don't have 100,000, we're not doing this. No, continue to grow. Like,
especially if you're starting.
Especially
if you're starting for the first month, don't even look.
Don't even worry about it.
Just focus on. In this, I'm gonna call out my wife because I've been challenging her with this. I told her, just start. How many times do you think you can consistently post a week? Is it 3? Then do
work
3.
with 3.
Is it 4?
Yes.
Do that for a month.
Yes, man.
And then and then once you get the habit, now for me, after almost 3 months, now I'm looking at what content's working.
Yes.
What's not.
Yes.
What can I hone in? How can I get better as a communicator? Which is funny is because I'm recording so many videos, my communication skills have become better because guess what I'm doing every day?
You're talking every day, bro.
And I'm watching myself.
Absolutely.
Which is one of the most brutal things in the world.
Of course. Yeah, of course. It's super brutal to watch yourself. I think even more brutal to hear yourself. Sometimes I sound sleepy, but I honestly sound like that all the time. Like I'm just a chill dude until I'm like in a room where I'm engaging. Same. And so, it gives you a chance to put the mirror up to yourself and see yourself and identify within self, what can self do more of to help build up the kingdom. We want to be kingdom practitioners, then this becomes a part of practice, right? Social practice. I wouldn't say as far as a spiritual discipline, but almost as much as, or as important as a spiritual discipline. We have to engage our community around us. My man is going to tell y'all more about the engagement and how we can use SEO and geofencing to kind of engage our community abroad. I think if you had that concept as well as the social media concept mirrored together or merging together, what type of impact you would really have in the community.
Well, it all comes down, if you really want to break it down simply, is start somewhere. So start with a topic, start with a platform, and start creating. And if that's long form, and then YouTube, and then create reels, and then create, just start with, I think, and that's what I do. I overcomplicate it, and then I get overwhelmed, and I want to do everything. And it's like, no, pick one platform, pick one topic, one audience, and just do that.
Work well.
And then you can build your teams. As we wrap up, I want to ask this. What are maybe something recently, maybe it's a person you've met, a book that you've read, something you've learned. What is like right now that something new that you're like, man, everyone needs to know about this. They need to know about this person. They need to read this book. They need to know this knowledge. What is that right now for you?
Oh man. So I'm back in seminary. So I attend Phillips Theological Seminary out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, an accredited institution that has been impactful in my life. That's cool. So I'm reading books or having conversations. Oh, here's the most important book that I'm reading right now. That's of biblical authority. Where does, who has, how is it created? And the conversation around this book about biblical authority is centered around the conversation of how biblical authority is interwoven into the Imago Dei, our humanity that's on the inside of us. And so having the conversation as a believer, where is it centered? Who created biblical authority? Yeah. When was it distributed down to us? And then how is that interwoven with the practices of a Christian and as a believer? It's not necessarily in the, papyruses or things of that nature. No, it is within us, the Imago Dei. Yeah. God is with us. Yeah. And so I'm reading that, reading conversations, Black liturgy as a conversation. There's a book that I'm reading about time, and one about how the rabbis use business practices in the Bible and apply them to current day. So those are kind of the 4 read, because I'm always reading. I'm always an avid learner. Yeah. And so I'm all like, there's 8 books on my desk of various reading, anywhere from, because I'm taking a CPE course. Yeah. And I think every pastor should take a CPE course. That is like super critical because it helps you deal with the range of emotions as a believer. Yeah. And so it's getting into the wood. So one of the things is essay is, I would say essay because I don't know where this platform is going to go. Okay. But it's talking more in depth about that and how we handle that in the church. Is there a conversation that should be had? Have we had it? Have we set up things to put into practice to make sure that we protect those things? So those are things I'm reading. Not to go down the rabbit hole. Great. Those are things I'm engaged with. I mean,
listen, I got a 9-year-old daughter. It's and on that topic, I legitimately bribed her so we could get her off, get off Roblox and to get on a Switch. Yeah, because of the things that are happening. Absolutely, because I love being online, but I'm going to protect my daughter at all costs.
You have to.
Okay. From our topic, if a pastor asked you, hey, who should I follow to look at when it comes to content positioning, creating content, whatever. Ooh. Give me a couple of like, you have to follow these people.
Tim Ross. Tim Ross is, I used to work for Tim Ross. Shout out to Tim. My guy.
Oh, Tim Ross now, aka then you got now the Tim Rivers.
Tim Rivers.
That's my guy too.
Yeah, Tim Rivers. Those guys are great communicators.
Yeah. They
phenomenal communicators.
Insane. Yes.
Yeah. And so I think you should definitely keep up with them. What's my guy? Myron Goins. You should keep up with Myron. Myron is phenomenal. There's a lady that Justin Lester. He does AI space. It's my friend and brother. And if I'm thinking of a person like to follow with content, because I do have a chance to work with Justin a lot. Justin Lester puts out a volume of content that I think most pastors would just be like, how do you do that?
I'm like, how does he do that?
Yeah, so Justin Lester is somebody I would follow as it relates to content. I'm trying to think of some sisters that are doing. It's a lady named, I think it's Alicia. She's handling AI. Is a really good person. Oh my God.
Come on, ladies. Ladies. We need more
need some
kingdom-minded Christian females out here.
We need that.
And I'm sure they're out there. I'm not saying that there's not, but we need more. We just need more.
Kenny Jang.
My wife, Natalie Boyce.
Come on, Natalie. Hey, Natalie, let's get to it.
I'm sure.
Kenny Jang is another one.
Yep.
I think he puts out content.
And also, I think for me right now, what Cap Chatfield is doing.
Chatfield, yeah. Chap has been doing that for a while, though.
No, I know. But I think it's great to look at in context of just some different angles and different thoughts. For me, it's about You just got to get some ideas and then figure
Absolutely.
out what you want to do.
It's a sister that's on Instagram. She helps all the time. Oh, no. I got it right here.
I got to shout out my boy, Omar El Takari.
Omar is, hey, Omar, I love what you're doing. So, brother, I see you.
Yeah.
I see you. Omar is really dope.
Yeah.
I try to mimic a lot, especially that calm tone and more directness. And being a believer, he's dope.
And he's got tips and tricks for the team and people who, if maybe you don't necessarily want to create content, but you want to edit videos and YouTube, the back end, he's insane.
Here's another one, Sabrina Romanov, in terms of what you're doing in AI and the content. She is crazy. Chris McDonald, she just recently joined the Life Church staff in Oklahoma.
Yep.
She does great content. So I'm around a lot of people that I'm just watching consistently to do that content at a very high level and a high clip, man.
Okay, I've got another one that I always have to. I got last one, and then we're gonna end it. My friend Christian Velez, he's out of Oklahoma, and his story on how he got started, and what I love about him is he simply just started posting how to read the Bible.
Yeah.
And did it consistently for, I think, 8 or 9 months. I did a recorded video with him, and he breaks it down. What he did is so simple. Now it's a lot of work, but it's nothing crazy, and he's still doing it. And he's got, hundreds, probably almost 200,000 followers on Instagram, and it's the amount of people that he's reached and be able to not just, even Christians, to help take them to the next level of being self-fed. It's absolutely amazing.
I love that you mentioned that, and I know we're going to get out of here, but Pastor, we have a discipleship crisis happening, and we need people to read the Bible to us.
Understand the Bible.
We don't have that. And the older seasoned saints, we need you guys to take those stories that you have and package them so we can have them and use them going forward. We just need you guys to say more to us. And I think that's the one thing that's missing. We don't have our seasoned saints speaking to us.
Yeah.
And we need them to always be speaking to us. So, man.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for being on.
Of course, my brother.
Dude.